Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Minutes with M and M. I'm Missan, this is Mena, and we're happy to have you back. This episode is going to be all about love. We're going to talk about love life. This is one of my favorite shows, and I am so gutted that it was cancelled. HBO Max, you will pay for your crimes. I'm still holding out hope that it's going to be picked up by another network, but
it's not.
Why are you throwing that into the universe?
It's just not gonna get picked.
No, it will be picked up. Okay, I need to see more stories. I love TV shows that are about things like this and like short stories. I was a big fan of Modern Love as well. So I don't know, like maybe it was really well received.
It wasn't received to a wide enough group of people. That is the problem.
It's just there is no rhyme or reason to what shows HBO Max is canceling. It doesn't make any sense. But yeah, we're gonna be talking about the season 1 and season 2 and reminiscing a little bit. We're gonna be talking about every single partner for the main characters of season 1 and season 2 each, and we're just gonna be saying how we feel about each of these characters and like how they were as love interests. And so we're gonna insert like chapter whatever they call it. Yeah, timestamps.
You need to see that little yellow line, go click on it to go see the next person, basically.
Yeah, so you can actually like just move through whichever one you really care about.
If you're listening to this on Spotify, sorry.
Oh yeah.
But thank you for listening and subscribing.
We're gonna start with season 1, which was focused on Darby. It's my favorite season personally. I feel like I prefer. I know a lot of people are gonna come for me because a lot of people loved season 2. But I think season 2 was very popular in like the Black community because, you know, they related a little bit more. But in terms of how it was written, I think I prefer Darby's story.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's start from Darby and her first love interest, which is Augie.
I'm gonna just start here and say that I think the writers were wrong. They made a mistake. Augie should have been her endgame. I like them. I like the dynamic. It was cute. It was funny. They broke up, but they found each other again. Hello, it's love.
Thank you. I agree with that.
But unfortunately, they did this whole thing where like they're comfortable together, but they're not growing, and they don't, they have different opinions, and
Yeah, and I think it was just like both of them unwilling to compromise.
Yep.
And that just showed that Darby also hadn't grown, and he hadn't grown like to that level yet, where I don't know, like I feel like Darby, one of her major problems is that she was expecting this fantasy story. Like for her love life, she was supposed to meet someone who was just immediately perfect and like ticked all her boxes, and she didn't have to do anything to get there, and like it just worked. And that was where she was at with Augie, and she was just like, no, he does all these things, and Augie was just like, but I care about the environment. Like I care, like why are you saying I shouldn't say these things? So they have a baby together, so I think it would have just been like fantastic.
Okay, look. We don't have to all be mom, dad, baby live in the same house together. It really doesn't have to be that. But I need a better explanation for why you'd break up with your boyfriend that you like and get along with when you're having a baby together. I'm so sorry. Like, being pregnant is hard. Having a baby is hard. And then, we kind of see them navigate that. And like, he's in her tiny apartment and they're trying to, what is this? What is this? Is this real life? It was giving, the writers want to subvert our expectations and show us things can be different. So now she's dating while breastfeeding with, no!
Yeah. But the thing is that on Augie's side, I actually don't think he liked her that much. Because he came back to the city and he was like, Darby who?
I mean, like, if you move back to a city where you broke up with someone years ago, would you really go look for them? You move on with your life.
I would give her a call, like even if it's just to see if you're alive or like we can be friends.
It's a lie, because if I'm calling you,
it wasn't years after actually. It was months.
Oh, you mean when he came back and he was already dating the other girl?
Yeah,
I'm dating someone new.
No, he had come back and he didn't meet the girl elsewhere.
Yeah.
He came back and then he met someone new.
I've met someone new.
No, but when you came back and you were like, I need to date. You didn't even think maybe I should hit Darby up.
I just think that he had accepted that fate had told them the relationship was over.
But it wasn't fate. You were moving away.
For a very good job. It was Obama.
And you don't have that job anymore.
Well, I just don't know that I personally would reach out. I just feel like it'd be really awkward. Like, I remember when we broke up and we thought we couldn't do long distance. Anyway, I'm back. Do you want to go for a date? It's just like, maybe let's just...
Because I think Darby was single at that point.
I think she was. Well, I mean, we wouldn't know though, because it's possible that she was, and maybe you're right. But they were also younger, and I think he was a little like offended that they didn't try the long distance thing because he was the one that was leaving, and it was kind of like, this won't really work, but maybe, but no, because they say I love you right before he leaves.
Yeah.
So I think he was just like,
But Darby was willing to do long distance. He was like,
let's be realistic. I think it's just, I don't know.
He just didn't like her that much. That's what I think.
Maybe he didn't like her that much, which sucks for her. I think he was great. I think out of all the love interests, he's the best, and we're gonna get to the one. But to me, Augie was who she should have ended up with.
Okay, I'm gonna save my comments to the end. But let's move on to the next person, which is Bradley. This relationship was so weird to me. This was her like ex-boss. And he was actually decent. He was very decent to her. He introduced her to the person who made her who she is today. And now she's this big person and she's like curating art. Like he had like his shit together, and you ruined his father's funeral. She literally just ruined that relationship single-handedly. Like he did nothing wrong, but just be a nice boyfriend to you and actually give you and your friends a decent place to stay. And I love how her friends were like, "You ruined this for us. What's wrong with you?" But yeah, that's all I can say. I don't have any bad thing to say about him except it's a little bit weird. But they weren't actually like
working together anymore
at that point. So
I actually don't think the ex-boss thing. I'm just like, that's what you get for dating a young girl. Like, cause yeah, she was super immature, but that's what you get for dating a girl in her 20s who doesn't know what she's doing.
I'm sorry, there are like 20 years old who wouldn't do that.
Oh no, she absolutely took it too far. Like the bow that broke the camel, whatever the thing, the straw, camel's back, all of that. It was absolutely her behavior at the funeral. Why are you drunk? Why are you talking to people? Why are you feeling a type of way that my dad is dead? So that was it. But I think honestly, even before that, he was kind of like, this babe wants to go clubbing. She's not like really into the mature things. And like the relationship was destined to fail. She just took it too far because of her insecurities. But I think he was lovely. And maybe she's just really cute. Because I'm not really seeing what he saw in Darby.
I think his sex was great. Maybe, the sexual tension had been building up while they were working together. But I do agree with what you said. I feel like if the funeral saga didn't actually happen, they still wouldn't have made it work because Darby wasn't even being herself. She was very intimidated by his friends who were more affluent, and she was trying to be someone who she wasn't. So that she just wasn't even ready. She just wasn't.
You know what? It's fine. She got to be with a grown man for a little bit, have fun with his money, do her laundry. You know what? Good for you, babes.
Not her laundry.
Let's move on to Danny Two Phones. What the hell?
I don't know what that stint was. But then Darby was so mean to him.
Was she mean to him?
Yes,
he was a bit scary. He was a bit intense.
He was just asking you out on a date. He saw you were bleeding. He offered to help you. You came on your own to his house. You had a nice night, and he was trying to ask you out on a date. You could have easily said, "Hey, we had a nice night, but I feel like I'm not in a place, like I'm not ready yet or whatever." Like, you said you were moving cities.
Because
was that necessary?
Why do you have a phone that you're saving because of the situation with your ex?
He just threw out the phone and he not.
I didn't know that. Now you've put too much pressure on me. I'm actually moving. No, because it's scary. He was just intense.
I feel like she could have
been nicer.
Yeah.
She could have, but I don't blame her because at the end of the day, this is why I don't believe in one night stands. You don't know if this man will kill you. All I can see is that you're really intense about your last babe, and now you want to transfer that energy to me because you're talking about how maybe this night we met. It was no, sir. I am moving. I am sorry, and it just is what it is. It wasn't nice. I agree, it wasn't nice, but I can see how it happened.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because you brought me to your house. Nobody knows I'm here.
I'm like, you know what? Darby was just like a very, very big people pleaser. Like, she just couldn't break this guy's heart. Like, she'd rather let him think that, oh my God, I really want to date you, but like, I'm just not going to be in the city anymore, than to just say her real feelings. And yeah.
I'm screaming. So next up is Magnus, but I think we should do Luke first and then do all of Magnus together because it goes Magnus, Luke, Magnus. You know what? This don't sound insane. And I'm not saying that I personally have done something like this, but I can relate to her telling everyone she has cancer so that this boy will date her.
100%. when her roommate came out, and was like, "Hey, I'm so sorry," and her roommate was a horrible person. I like this guy, but let's just table that.
Teenagers.
No. When her roommate came out, and she was like, "Oh my God, no, what's going on? Are you crying?" She was like, "No, it's no big deal. I just found out I had cancer." I was like, oh, good save. But then I was like, oh shit, Like, how is she gonna? Not her like googling like, okay, curable cancers.
But you know what? She was in the best case scenario to do this because yes, people found out, but you were in boarding school far away and you got to just leave. Like, imagine if she had been in public school in her neighborhood. You're not going anywhere. These people are going to see you for the next 10 years every day. I know that you're the girl who lied about having cancer.
Yeah. But you know what? I totally get it. Like that flashback episode, like I felt it because I know people are like, no, it's high school. Why are you holding on to this shit? I'm sorry. What Luke did was like really bad. And I took it personally because I've been through that shit as well. Like people just pretending not to know who you are after like something that meant so much to you. And as someone who grew up really introverted and shy, like I'm not gonna like come out and profess my love for you and say, hey, can you be my girlfriend? I'm gonna come to your game and say hi. Like and you're just gonna ignore me.
Aww.
Fuck you.
Poor baby. Look, I don't even think what Luke did was that bad outside like in itself. It's everything. It's your parents both of your parents abandoning you during Thanksgiving and they're kind of like, fuck you, I have better things to do.
No, they invited her to the Disney cruise and she said no.
As an afterthought. And I don't want to be with this your family.
Fair.
Like, because even the fact that she's in boarding school is a warning flag. Like, the fact that her parents just don't want to be around her.
No, she wanted to go to boarding school.
Yeah, but like the fact that she doesn't want to be around her parents.
Yeah,
like that in wow, that was a very big switch up. But like the fact that she doesn't want to be around her parents, like you can see how all these things feed together to make her the kind of crazy person that would say that thing.
That's fair, but you know.
But yeah, also teenage boys are idiots.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, a girl, there's no one on campus, let's have a fun time. And now he's like, okay, I didn't know you before this vacation and I don't know you after. Very
I really like that he apologized. I really like that like he did remember that he did something fucked up to her, and when he reconnected he was like, I need to apologize to you, because some people will be like, what did I do? It was high school. So I like that he at least acknowledged that, okay, that thing I did when I was a stupid teenager, like it was bad and I'm sorry. So I like that.
He also helps her in a different way. We're gonna talk about Magnus. Jesus Christ. Fear men.
Yeah. I'm really scared.
I mean, to be fair, it's her fault for agreeing to marry him. Because he had already started showing warning signs. Like,
and that was when I knew that Darby was batshit crazy. That was when I was like, girl, therapy.
Because I screamed. I thought like the relationship was about to be over. Next thing, she's wearing a ring on her hand. I'm like, Darby! For what? For why? No, Magnus is literally... you can throw a rock on the street and see a man like Magnus. A liar, a scammer, a deceiver, selling you dreams.
This man was on the couch and saying, okay, what card should I use for the lawyer for my case that I'm not winning and I'm never going to win? Like, what? Okay, lawyers like produce documents. No, I'm not a snitch. But like, okay, they offered you this one job. No, I don't want this job. Why? What's wrong with you?
He's just useless. He's a useless, controlling person. Well, and here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with being lazy. But like, he's like, you're giving free meals at work when you can't do that. You're showing up late. You're just doing whatever. Like, just a lack of focus and direction in his life. And not only is he that way, he's now controlling on top. Yeah. Because you're telling Darby she can't do this, she can't do that. When she finally said she wanted to leave, my dad was ready to die on top of, no, we can't split up.
Yeah, and he's like, you will never find anyone better than me. And I just, that entire scene just gave me endorphins. Endorphins. Ugh.
And of course, in a situation where you're married to this man like this, can I fault her for cheating? No. In fact, I'm glad you cheated. I'm glad you reconnected with Luke, because he's the one who looked you in the eye and said, babe, escape, you are in prison.
Yeah. I would be so embarrassed if like my longtime high school friend who's a lawyer was supposed to help my husband, and like a high school friend that I had a huge crush on, and then he's just looking at me like, this is the person you married.
This is your life.
This is who you sleep next to at night.
Embarrassed. No.
I can't.
No, it was actually just shameful.
Yeah.
Like, everything about that, I can't believe that she wasn't going to free herself from that street. When your therapist is looking you in the eye and saying, babe, you deserve better, you need to ask yourself about your choices.
And that's when I just knew that, okay, like, being a people pleaser is really, really harmful, because if you run into the worst kind of people, like, that can just derail your life, your entire life, because I know we're like saying, yeah, kudos to Darby because she stood her ground, but not everybody gets out of that situation. Sometimes they just run into like horrible people, like they end up in debt, like their entire life is over, all because you married this demon of a person.
Even Darby said that mistaken pregnancy she had with Augie, imagine it was with Magnus.
Oh, no. Like I can't even imagine.
No. Oh, I'm glad she escaped. Honestly, watching those episodes were just, it was like watching a horror movie.
Yeah, I was like, this guy said, okay, bye babe, I'm gonna go out and search for a job. And he just disappears for hours, not picking up his phone, like, what is wrong with you? And then you come back to propose.
And you said yes. Can you imagine? And you know, we see that her relationship with her parents is very frayed, but even though, what is that? Anyway, thankfully, after Magnus, you know, there's a little bit of a chillax period, and we see her stuff with her friend and her mom, but we're not really gonna get into that.
Yeah.
She gets back with Augie, you know, they date again, they get pregnant, they break up because the writers hate me. And then finally she meets the person,
Grant.
the one, Grant.
First of all, I love Grant because, I'm sorry, I'm a sucker for British accents.
I'm dead. That cannot.
And that's a very low bar. Yes, I know. But he's a decent person because, like, I was like already suffering from PTSD from all her previous partners. So when they were gonna have drinks and she fell asleep because she was exhausted, I was like, oh my god, she has ruined this entire thing. Wow, he has knocking for hours, and like he just like slides that note under her door, and he's like, oh, you finally got a nice rest, and like, here's my number. I'm just like. Yes, the bar is low. Fight me. But I like that, and I really love the overall message of like, you know, you can find your person in like any person, and like it doesn't have to be whoa sparks like weak in the knees. It's like this person gets me, and like we work together. So I like it.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad. I personally just think that after everything that I've been through as a main character and my special extra baby that I didn't plan for, I deserve fireworks. I deserve to just whoosh. Let it be like
but
magic.
Okay, to be realistic, right? It doesn't always happen like that for everyone.
That's true. I guess when her and Augie meet, and it's the first episode of the entire show, right? The chemistry was just so palpable and immediate, and I was just like rooting for them so hard that when she gets with Grant, I'm like, oh, this is it.
Yeah, but I think they didn't really give Grant like a lot of like backstory or storyline. They were just like, this is your person, wrap up the season. But like maybe if they gave us like 2 episodes or like maybe just 1 episode of like them doing things, because like with Augie you could even see like they were doing like a whole time
but from the first episode you felt it, right? Even before they showed us more of Augie, you saw it.
I didn't see much. I just saw someone that she liked a lot more than he maybe liked her, but okay.
I mean, she's happy with Grant. You know, her and Augie have a great co-parenting relationship. She's matured as a person, so congrats to her.
Moving on to season 2. Marcus.
So technically, I think we should start with his wife, Emily, because that's the first relationship we see him in.
That entire relationship was... What the fuck was that, Marcus? Because I think he only got with her to like spite his parents and like because it was just a comfortable thing. Like she was there, he was managing her, and like the moment he saw something else, it was like, ooh, sparks.
Okay, so you're right that he wasn't the best husband. But I feel like because of him not being a great husband, we overlook some things with Emily. Because that whole you compare me to Barack Obama thing kind of...
No. You asked me the question. I said, is this a trick question? You said, no, answer truthfully. And I told you Obama. And a black person had just told you that same thing earlier that day. So it's not me. No, it's your aura.
No, but he was told that his white wife would say that to him. Like, you know what?
No, but like, I can't take that as a white wife thing because somebody else has already said that who is not white.
Yeah, but the person who said that to her the person that said it to him said it in criticism, not in praise.
Yeah.
So like that's the issue. Like,
yeah, but like if that's the person, like, you know, people have different feelings about Obama, but like you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, but it just solidified for him that he probably should have just married a black girl.
I came back with a second answer. I said Will Smith.
Is that better? I genuinely think that they should never have been married in the first place. They were not a fit. I think Marcus went through that phase that some black guys go through where it's like, I'm with a white woman, and he just happened to get married at that point in time instead of like working to the end of it where he's like, okay, now I'm comfortable in my blackness in a certain way. Not that there's anything wrong with interracial relationships, but for Marcus, nothing good happened when he was with non-black women. I mean, even with black women, it was, but with Emily, it was like, you're not a bad wife. You just don't get things. And they kind of talk about it like throughout their relationship. There's just, you know, when she was reading his messages and she was feeling a type of way about black stuff that he had to hide or keep from her. And it's like,
but like, did he have to hide it? Because I feel like there were moments where Emily was trying to inquire about things and just like he wouldn't open up to her. So if you're going to marry someone and not open up to her, like, then don't marry her in the first place, because like you can't just say, oh, because you're white, you're never going to get anything that I'm going to tell you. Like, I wouldn't know how it feels like, but I can at least get it and understand.
I think that's why they shouldn't have gone together, because I understand the mindset of you're not black, you won't get it. And there's some things that it doesn't matter how like understanding you are. I don't even want to do it.
If you don't want to do it, then don't get married.
That's why I think he shouldn't have married her. Yeah. I don't think she was a villain. I mean, getting with my best friend after we split up is very villain.
No, whatever I do after you, it's not my business. No. Whatever I do after you disrespecting me in that way, it's not your business. I'm not a criminal. I'm a decent person. No, because I deserve a better way of a breakup or a divorce from my marriage. So yes, I would, because like, I'm sorry, that guy's not your best friend, because you were going to the bar to talk to him and it was like, okay, can you stand up now? My actual real date is here. He's not your best friend. It's not my fault you don't have real best friends. I'm sorry.
I can see you have strong feelings about Marcus.
I'm just saying that it was I think one of my biggest, I feel like you guys can start making a list of all my pet peeves. My biggest pet peeves in TV is when like there's like collateral damage and I'm supposed to just ignore it because look, sparks. And I feel like if I just saw all those messages as Emily, like that would have been insane. And like there was nothing wrong that she did it, like apart from just being a nice wife to Marcus. And like the fact that they just didn't connect, I feel like she deserved at least a conversation as opposed to let's make fun of ugly white babies, and like my wife doesn't understand me and this person that I met 2 weeks ago understands me a little bit more. Like,
no, he was totally delusional, but was the ugly white baby thing wrong? You know what? Let's not get into that. No, but Emily, you're right. She didn't do anything wrong in the relationship. I just don't like getting with friends of people you're in committed.
I really feel like it was the guy who pursued her, and like, you're doing your own thing anyway. Why can't I do my own thing?
That's fair, because now when we have events, and now
like you don't own me, right?
It's not about owning, but like now we're seeing each other, and I'm on a camping trip, and hearing you're dating this. Like I don't want that.
Well, he makes me happy. I'm sorry. Like the same way you left me because Mia makes you happy, then we all do what we want to do.
Because he's delusional. So Mia is throughout the entire story. She's from the beginning to the end. So I guess
let's talk about her at the end, right? Or should we talk about her before?
I think let's just talk about the delusion aspect. He meets this babe and he's like, wow, soulmates, and he's ready to throw away his life for her, and then he finds out she's dating like an athlete. Like, and he brought her. Like in his head, he's like, we have such a connection, and she's like, who told you that?
Look, Mia is a villain, but she's a villain I stand behind. She's like, don't blame me. You fucked up your life. Oh my god.
But we'll come back to her in a little bit. But that's how they met. You know, they jived a little bit, and he started building castles in the sky about what their relationship would be, and
he was doing insane things. I was like, did you do this for Emily or not?
He really thought he was going to leave his wife for this woman that he had never had a conversation about being in a relationship with. It's giving big delusion. Anyway, let's move on to Paloma.
So that was a low Marcus. Like that was, bro, you saw the dorm. You entered the dorm. You signed in as the security guy was eyeing you and judging you. You came up. There were so many steps that you were just like, what? You have so many opportunities to say, okay, stop, Marcus. Like, what are we doing? Let's go back. But you didn't.
And he was clearly super uncomfortable with what he was doing. He was like, oh my God, I'm having sex with a child. And let's be clear, she wasn't a child. She was, 18, 19, 20?
Yeah, she was like 22 or 21.
Yeah, so she was in college. So she was somewhere in her early 20s, most likely. But he's a grown man. And it's icky. Like, you were having sex in her dorm bed. Y'all remember what it was like to be in college with those skinny-ass beds? Imagine sleeping on a queen bed for the last 10 years, and now you're on a little student bed. No. Marcus, do better. I think, but you know what? It was to show us how down bad he was. Because himself, he was like, is this my life?
Yeah, he was like, wow, this is my life.
Like, no, it was embarrassing. So, ew, just boo. Yeah. Moving on to the next person, Destiny.
Destiny. Wait, did Destiny come before Ola?
Yeah.
Okay, so Destiny
was someone he ran into, you know, you came here for your parents. Like, you came to this city for a specific reason, and now you're chasing tail to go God knows where, and they have destroyed the car.
And you are mad that your mom has invited this nice girl. What? I just invited her, and you ignored her throughout the entire event. Like, I don't know, Marcus and his decision making, like the entire like season was just like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, if at all that's what it is, just tell her that, or tell mom, like tell your mom that, or tell Destiny that, hey, like, I'm sorry, I'm not comfortable with you coming to this. I don't know. It was just,
I don't even understand what his angst with his parents was, honestly. They seemed fine. Like, I mean, parents aren't perfect, but like, he seemed to have like a couple of weird hangups about information sharing with his parents and like the choices that he was making. And I don't get it, but
yeah, his parents were lovely to me.
I don't know. I'm like, his sister was right there every step of the way going, you know, you're full? Okay, continue.
I loved his sister. I know we're not talking about, like, we're talking about love interest, but his sister was just like a constant voice of reason to him. And I love that.
No, love his sister. I hate that his car got smashed. Like, on one hand, I'm like, this is what you get for doing dumb things. But on the other hand, I'm like, oh my God, this guy should go to prison. So, no, it was all stressful. Weird situation. Let's move on to Hola.
Hola, and it's supposed to be hola, but we'll let it go.
Bibbs, okay, no shade to anyone. I'm not an astrology, chakra, manifest person. It doesn't really align with my belief system. So
let people do what they want.
No,
I'm joking, I agree with that.
Let people do what they want to, within reason, because now you moved into my house and you're bringing your crystals, you're putting your lights around my house.
The first red flag was her saying that she manifested this, and she said like her horoscope said that she would meet a Taurus, and like he was a Taurus, and she was like, this is fate.
But you know what? At the end of the day, it comes back to Marcus, because you saw that this girl was very woo-woo, and you were like, no, let me continue. So don't you deserve what happens?
The same way they're making fun of his belt when she goes to the bathroom. They're like, why are you wearing it? It's like, oh, she's my belt. Like, she got it for me. It's like, but why are you wearing it?
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing, and you need to do better.
But you know what? Like, all in all, I think she was semi-decent. Like, she wasn't a, like, woo-woo crazy person. It was just, like, it got to a point where like he realized that he wasn't attracted to her anymore, and like their sex life was just shit. Like she tried on costumes. She was like, okay, what do you want me to do? He was like, it's just not working. And then she catches him in the bathroom jerking up to who? I won't say her name, but let's move on.
Okay, so two quick things before we move on. One, she may not have been overtly crazy that we saw on screen, but how things in the final episode, the whole thing with her writing a play about him.
I'm trying to advance my career,
and then this is my life. Into his eyes and saying, "No, what do you mean? This isn't about you." That's crazy person behavior.
No, it's not about you. Fight me.
It's about me.
No, it's not about you. Fight me. Are you the only man I've ever dated in my life?
You're quoting verbatim from our arguments, and I'm supposed to believe you. No, see, to me, that's a sign that she was doing crazy things in the relationship that we didn't even see.
Well, the fact that they didn't show me, then I'm gonna disregard it because we're talking about the TV show and the scenes that they actually showed us. From that, she wasn't that crazy.
You know what? Fair. So my second question here is, if he had been jerking off to just regular porn, would it have been okay for her to be upset, or would it have been like, no, this was get him off right now?
I don't know, because it's a tricky situation where it's like, because I feel like people people take jerking off very differently than they do sex, and so it's like, but some people also conflate the two. They're like, oh, you say you can't get it up, but like all of a sudden you're jerking off. Like, what's going on? So I don't know.
So like, what do you like? So I'm asking, like, what do you think Ola's issue was? Was it that he was jerking off after not having sex? He was jerking off, or do you think that he was jerking off to Mia?
I think it was that he was jerking off to Mia.
Okay, that's fair. Like that's a very reasonable concern. Because what's this? Anyways, also, oh God, he just makes so many. Like he keeps getting left when he wants to leave, which is another thing. Like he was tired of things with Emily, but he didn't do anything. Emily found the messages. He was tired of things with Ola. He didn't do anything. It's Ola that walked in on him, and then the relationship ended.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
I mean, I love that he ended up growing. He ended up actually leaving his company. He ended up actually leaving that his COVID roommate person who just wasn't sanitizing or wearing masks. So he started to speak up for himself towards the end. So
I mean,
growth.
Let's talk about Becca, his casual hookup friend with a lot of money that he would have sex with.
I loved Becca. Becca was a fun time. She was like, bro, you don't need to know my children. You don't need to know anything about me. Let's meet up at a hotel. You don't need to know my house. We both know what this is. Let's have fun. And I think it worked for the both of them until she went and got pregnant.
To be fair, she didn't go and get pregnant. You, as a big man, wrap it up carefully.
I mean, he didn't even. I don't even think he wore a condom.
Exactly.
So like, I think it was on both people because you jumped on top of him saying
but he came. He did 2 minutes, man. It was.
Oh, that's quick. That's fair.
There was not really time to. Why can you not control yourself?
And I really loved how she handled it. She was like, "Hey, I'm gonna have this baby. You don't have to be involved, but just you should know."
I don't like. You know what? I'm not gonna get into it. I just have feelings about, I'm having a baby, you don't have to be involved. Is that true? No, that is my child.
Because like, what's the alternative? Just not telling them at all, or just not having the baby?
I guess you know what? It's too complicated to get into. It's true. It's very gray. I guess the fact that she already had kids and was older was part of my like, why are you having a baby for your random fuck buddy?
She wanted a do-over, but then she started saying things like, he's gonna be a cute little mixed baby, and I was like,
yeah. And then she found,
okay, now you're weird.
No, but she was always weird, because even the whole threesome thing, she was weird and fetishizing, but he didn't notice.
Why is the threesome weird?
No, not the threesome itself. It was like kind of she was having feelings about having sex with a black man, because remember how shocked he was when he found out that her older kid was black? Like, her first kid was half black, and she was
really,
yeah. And he was like, "Oh, you've done this before." Like,
okay, I didn't know that. Like, yeah,
oh, yeah, like
you presented new information, so I don't like her anymore.
I'm screaming. Like, it was like, I don't think she got pregnant on purpose, but it seemed interesting. Like, oh my god, did you ever watch Chewing Gum?
Yeah.
Okay, you know that white guy she was with was like, I've never been with a black girl before, and then he had a whole African fetish. she was like that, but on a way smaller scale. No. Yeah. But whatever. Let me not phrase this in a way that's offensive. The pregnancy was not viable, and so they were able to part ways without having to co-parent. I will not show pleasure or joy in that outcome.
If I was Marcus in that situation, I would go to church the next day, because God is definitely looking out for you, or the universe.
No, thankfully, like, God, imagine he had actually had that baby with Becca. Jesus.
That would have ruined his life,
girl. Anyway, that situation, I think, made him actually take a step back and reevaluate his life. He was like, what am I doing? Why am I sleeping with people I don't want to impregnate? Why is my life going like this? And I think that was really necessary for him. So you know what? He should have gone to church to thank God for showing him that things had to change. So last up, basically, is Mia. He dated someone else, Anjali, for 2 seconds during COVID. She doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So Mia, they bump back into each other. You know, they re-enter each other's lives. And Marcus is like this, look at him, hallelujah.
I don't know. I have very mixed feelings about Mia, but I think that's just the message of the show, that like, not every love story is perfect, and people like break up and then find their way back, and break up and find their way back. I just feel like she could have been a little bit more accountable in like the role that she played in like fucking up his life, and also like
cheating on him.
She cheated on him
when she went home to visit her.
Oh yeah. What she did, like, I just threw you a surprise birthday party.
Did I want it?
And then you're just like, okay, thank you for the gift, but we're breaking up. Oh my god, that just ruined his life. Like, he was down bad. Like, he was depressed.
It was so funny because, like, you know, even the way they break up, you know, he wants to give her a key to his house. She's like, you're proposing, don't propose. Bro, relax.
Commitment issues.
But you know, even him being that, well, to be fair, the relationship was already on last legs. I don't know, if you were not going to propose to someone, but so, like, okay, so we're dating and we're having a conversation, so I think you're going to propose to me, like, oh my god, don't propose to me. Is that a red flag to you?
Yes. If we've talked about it, yes. But if not, then yeah, maybe not really.
Yeah, I just feel like Marcus got really upset about that.
It really hurt his feelings. He was like, okay, I was going to give you a key, but then why won't you marry me?
I mean, like we said, there were obviously bigger issues at play in the relationship, but it was just interesting to see that after all his fantasies about being with her, watching it on screen is like, ugh, this is what you almost blew your life up for?
Yeah, because Mia had her own like issues to deal with, but he had like conjured up this perfect person in his head, and he put her like on a pedestal, and she's just like, relax, like actually relax.
And she was very much like, I didn't actually just show up to fix your life problems, and I don't know what has given you this very incorrect perception of what the situation is.
Yeah.
No, yeah, he was very manic pixie girl. Like, he was like, yeah, you're just full of life and you're amazing and you make my life better and you're so perfect. And she's like, whoa, who told you all of that?
Yeah, and given her background too, it's like her mom has been screaming men are trash. This was the OG feminist. I know people complain on Twitter every now and then, but like her mom has been screaming men are trash into her ear since she was like 5. So like for her to now come into the situation and like this guy is just doing the most, she's just like no.
Look, after that he takes some time. I mean, like we said, he dates Anjali, but whatever. He looks within. He asks, am I the problem? And he does some growing, he does some healing. He apologizes to Mia. I'm sorry, he apologizes to Emily. He fixes his relationship with his friends. He quits his job. He decides he's not okay with casual racism. Like, congrats, Marcus. Anyway, after all that, him and Mia get back together and, they talk it through. They hash their issues. They commit. They move in together. They have a kid. Like, they really fast forward through all these parts. And, like, we get a jump forward where, he's actually being successful, which is shocking to me, but whatever. And he realizes that, like, Mia isn't happy because, she's dealing with their kid and she hates her job. And he makes the conscious decision to say, hey, you know what? You can take a break right now. You don't have to work. This is what's good for you, et cetera, et cetera. They go on a trip. And it's like us seeing him be an active participant in his relationship for once and also putting the other person first in a real way that's helpful and not a weird fantasized, ooh, magic will make everything better way.
Yeah.
So he grew, which is nice. And I do appreciate that in comparison to Darby, we see a lot of his relationship with Mia. We see literally, when they meet to when they get together, which is separated by bulks of time.
Yeah.
So even though I don't necessarily think they're perfect, I see how their relationship works and I understand it.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
So yeah. Maybe I can see why people enjoyed season 2. Because it was definitely funny. Like, his sister was great.
Funny, yeah. Sister was great. His best friend was great.
True.
The best friend with the kids.
Yeah.
He was like, every 5 minutes, go home to your wife. Go home to your wife. This thing you're about to do right now, just go home to your wife. And he just didn't listen to anyone who was trying to warn him.
So definitely that. And I like the concept of the show. I do like the idea of like just playing Russian roulette until you find the person that's your person and watching on screen.
I mean, that's how people do it though. That's how people's lives are.
When you say it like that, it's actually so depressing, bro. No.
It is. You meet people, you try again, you get your heart broken, you tell yourself never again, and then 1 year later you're like, maybe this is the one. Maybe. So yeah, I really enjoyed that, and I was just hoping to see like, maybe queer characters. I was hoping to see like just more stories and well,
you know what, that it would have been really nice to have like a season that's based on a lesbian, because you absolutely are gonna have 3 episodes where she's dating someone who's the ex of someone that she's dated before. Like, it would have been phenomenal. Unfortunately canceled, but maybe because the creator of the show actually says he's going to try to revive it, but I don't know how hard he's gonna try. I mean, worst case scenario, we can just hope for a show that's just so similar that it basically gives us what we're looking for.
It's not the same. It's not the same.
Look, at least be grateful that every season is self-contained, so there are no cliffhangers. We know how everyone got there happily ever after, and I love that. So shout out to the writers, the actors, all the people involved, except for HBO Max, because y'all are the ops.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much for hanging with us today. I hope you enjoyed our thoughts. Let us know in the comment if you actually liked the show, if you watched it, and if you are going to watch it even after all the spoilers that we just gave you right now.
Look, we left out so many details that if you want to watch it, especially for Darby, there's a really strong storyline that we didn't even talk about at all. Wink, wink. Go watch the show.
Yep.
Yeah, so let us know in the comments what you liked. Who was your favorite partner for each person? Do you think that their story growth was natural or like super weird? And yeah, we look forward to seeing you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.